Don't look under the internet.
You move in, then you move out. And hands up. Now hands down.
Back up. Back
up. Tell me what you gonna do now.
Keep rolling.
Right into this podcast. Welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet.
Hello, everybody.
It is an internet horror comedy.
Oh, it's okay. God, I can't finish until you say the whole phrase, and that's why I get so angry with Mike.
Horrible internet comedy.
Woo! Perfect.
I'm Matt, and that's
Hi,
Doug.
Matt.
Hello.
What's up, Doug? How's your
I
life?
don't know. It's okay. I'm still recording.
Okay,
the
awesome.
video.
Cool. We have
That's
confirmation that Doug is still recording.
Can confirm video is being recorded.
Right, sick. Jason,
Hello.
are
How's
you
it going?
recording the audio?
I am. If red
Okay.
means record, that's
no, red
happening.
means stop.
So yes, I'm recording the audio. let's just move past
Okay.
this.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, it's time for some Diluti housekeeping.
Clap
How's it-
above your head.
Clap above your heads, indeed. And today we've got patronage from Trevor. Hi, Trevor.
Trevor.
What's up, Trevor?
Yeah.
Welcome
thanks
to
for
the cult.
thanks for being a $10 patron. That's very swell of you. We've also got $10 from Kelsey. Hello, Kelsey. You're great indeed.
What happened to the fun names?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these are probably your given names, and that's great and everything, but I definitely miss the names that are like Throat Boxer 69.
What was the it was like cheese curd something or like
Yeah.
or,
Major
Big
Bear was
J-
a good one.
Major Bear was
Yeah.
a very good one. Big jug of hot cheese. That's
Big jug of hot cheese.
That one.
What's
Big
he
jug of hot
doing
cheese.
or she? What are they doing now? Where
Should
are
we
they
do
at?
Should we do like a quarterly checkup?
We should have a Hall of Fame patron name board. That's what we should do.
Dang.
You know, that is a very good idea. However, I foresee problems with people being able to change their Patreon names.
Nope.
And us.
It's
Oh.
just whatever it is when they subscribe.
Oh
Okay,
shit.
okay.
We actually got Trevor in the chat right now, and
What
we were just
up?
like, have a fun name, dickhead. Like
Fuck you! Giving us $10. Fuck your name.
Well, his headphones died, so he can't hear any of this. So
Oh, no.
there is that.
he can't hear it. That's good. Good. Fuck him.
Yeah.
He'll hear it when
Alright.
it comes out.
Everybody, what else do you hate about Trevor?
Quick. He's a
Oh
love.
my god.
He's a love.
Well,
Thank you two, for subscribing to the Patreon.
thank you.
You too
Yes.
can have your name read by going to patreon.com/deludipod and choosing to give us money, but make it interesting.
And you will have us thoroughly flame you
Oh yeah.
for doing so.
Yeah. Yeah, from
Oh, yeah.
now on, everybody who subscribes with a normal name is going to get increasingly more and more. Just like
Yeah.
Change that on the
right at
Patreon.
them.
Instead of a shout out, it's just we just roast the shit out of you for a couple minutes.
I'll change it to I'll put shout out / roast and then depending on your name.
Yeah. You'll never know.
Never know. It's up to our discretion. But
That's
just know that
actually
we do love
amazing.
you. So thank you so much, guys, for supporting us. We hope you guys enjoy the giant fucking backlog that you have to work your way through. But
We're basically children, so you know.
we are children. Yeah.
Yeah, don't take anything we say seriously. But you know what? Speaking of really stupid names, I've seen some
Yeah.
things on the internet in my time that have really stupid names.
This is the only bird scooter. This is
Yeah.
there is no other.
And one that stands out among the rest of the stupid names is the Temple of the Screaming Electron.
Wow.
I mean, the
And-
name itself is great.
Do you mind
Yeah.
elaborating?
Yeah. So, the Temple of the Screaming Electron is very similar to last week's topic in a lot of
Yes.
ways. If you listen to the paranoia.com episode, you got a little bit of an idea of what you're in for here, but it's slightly different. So, the Temple of the Screaming Electron has existed in two different forms throughout its history, or it did exist in two different forms throughout its history. So, it was originally actually set up as a dial-up bulletin board system. So, I'm gonna go a little bit into like what that means.
Yeah, what
because,
is
like,
that?
Younger people may not know what that is. So back a long time ago in a galaxy that is this one, we
We
had
really
these
should have
things
queued
called,
up the dial tone noise.
Oh my god, yeah. I did just ask, do we need new sounds for this?
I know, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I'll forget to insert this here, but maybe I
Perfect.
won't.
Editor's note.
Editor's note: you're gonna be lazy and you're not gonna do this. So back in the far off distant past of the 1990s, we used to have these things called landline telephones. And that was when, before we had cell phones, we had a phone that was plugged into the wall. And it
Wow.
was plugged into a wire that went from your house to other people's houses. And that's how you talked over the telephone. But
Yep.
aside from that use, we had a thing called dial-up internet. And that was when your computer, instead of being plugged into the Wi-Fi or the like an Ethernet cable, was also plugged into this phone line, and it basically called the internet.
Yep, that's
And-
exactly what it did.
Hello, internet.
Yeah, basically.
I'd like to see pictures of Bob's and Vagine, please.
And then you would have to watch it load line by
Yep.
line,
20 minutes later.
talking
Hold on, I
about
gotta-
edging.
I gotta change my away status to some emo lyrics real
Yeah.
quick on AIM.
Some Hawthorne Heights lyrics real quick. Hold on.
Ding.
Yeah. I see we're all
So-
very well versed in 90s instant messaging and internet.
Right. So, aside from being, and if you weren't super cool and had like two telephone lines going to your house, you shared that line with your mom. So if you were like online doing something and your mom got a call from Nancy or whatever, it would just fucking shut you off the internet. You'd be like, "Mom, put the phone down
Oh,
on
yeah.
the internet."
That was the wildest fucking thing. The fact that you literally had to tie up the ability to communicate verbally with people so you could go see, like, I don't know, a picture of Gary Busey holding a hot dog or like whatever the fuck you're looking up at the
I
time.
had to feed my Neopets, you asshole.
That's fair. That's important.
But
I hope
aside
mine
from
doesn't think I'm coming back because I'm not.
yeah, it's like Fry's dog from Futurama, just sitting there.
Oh,
waiting
no.
for you.
Oh.
Oh no.
And now we're all sad.
And now we're all sad. But aside from being able to like dial into the internet and go to like MSN and shit like that, before that, there were these things called dial-up bulletin board systems. And basically the way that this would work is that a person would essentially just stick a computer in their house and connect it to their dial-up service. And you would get on your computer and you would have your computer call that computer. And like it didn't go through a web browser or anything like that. It just went through a terminal on your computer. Like these started before computers even had like GUIs, before you could actually click on stuff. So
Okay.
you would call this computer from your computer and it would just shit out a bunch of text onto your screen. And you would have to navigate this bulletin board system through the text that popped up in the terminal. And most of the time, only one person at a time could use this system. Like one person could call into the bulletin board system at a time. And basically,
Pooh.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
inefficient. That's not great.
very inefficient. There were some that existed that would support multiple uses, but those were like few and far between and they were expensive to set up. But basically, it was a system that would show you everything that people that had previously logged into the bulletin board system had like left on it for other people to read, or what the person who ran the system left on it for people to read. It was a very, very primitive form of an internet forum, essentially.
Okay.
And so that's what this thing was. And it was set up by a guy named Jeff Hunter in this state, and it was actually part of a network of other bulletin board systems. But At the time, the only thing that he had a computer capable of storing was text files. So this thing was basically just a gigantic repository of text files. And basically anybody could sign up to leave a text file on this thing. And it had a pretty similar concept to paranoia.com, where he had this idea that just there was going to be no censorship. Any idea that you wanted to share with the rest of the people who were going to dial into this thing was okay with him. And it went about exactly as you would expect it to. So that was basically how it started. And then a guy named JC Stanton got on board, and it later actually developed into a website with an actual forum on it that you could actually load up in a web browser. But yeah, so like basically just in its original form, you went to this place, you signed up for an account, and you were just greeted with a huge dump of raw text files. And the categories that eventually showed up on this website / bulletin board system were bad ideas. And this one,
Oh yeah.
this one it's a series of bad ideas. There's
Yes, it
instructions
is.
for picking locks. There's instructions for doing different scams, buying guns, building bombs, shit like that. There's a drug section.
Yep.
It has information about drugs. There's like different people's opinions on the legality of drugs and different drug laws, and instructions on how to make things. Meth is a real popular one.
Oh
Lots
yeah.
of instructions on how to make meth. There's an ego section that I don't really fully understand what it is.
I think that's supposed to be like a self-help section, at least from what I saw trawling through this fucking site. But then okay, I'll let
There's
you
a
go ahead.
yeah, there's a lot of shit on it. There's like people's opinions on art and life. There's like just some random self-indulgent like thought dumping.
Yep.
There's a section called the Cult of the Dead
Yep.
Cow, which
Yes,
is a
there
hacker
is.
group from the 80s and the 90s and we're going to go into that a little bit more later. But like most of this is just like crazy rambling. There's some Metallica lyrics in there. It's
There's
just,
so many
Oh,
lyrics.
God.
There are
Yeah.
so many lyrics on this website.
basically anything and everything could end up here. There's an
yeah.
erotica section, which is
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
self-explanatory. It's
No
user
pictures,
submitted
though.
erotica. Well, that's a good thing because most
yeah.
of the stuff that's in this section is extremely questionable in nature.
Oh yeah.
I promise you, if you have a fetish, no matter the legality of it, it's here.
I'm gonna
is
touch on that a little bit later.
It sure is.
Not too much later, but a little bit later.
There's a fringe section, and that section is for like conspiracy theories and aliens. It's just batshit insanity. There's a
It's
society
my favorite section.
Yeah, that's the best one. There's a
Oh, yeah.
society section, which is people's opinions on like politics and society. And basically from browsing that, I gathered that it's just like dumps from people who hate people about the people that they hate.
Yep.
Or their paranoid opinions on privacy law and like why they think that they should be scared of the government.
Oh my god, dude, the privacy ones. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Those are fun to read.
Yeah, there's like guides to disappear, like on how to disappear and shit. There's a technology section, and this one has text like just text files about different tech concepts and like cryptography and stuff like that, and ways to implement it. And then like in addition to this stuff, in the later implementations of the website, which was eventually just totse.com, there was also an IRC chat, and then eventually there was a community bulletin forum that eventually ended up being like the place that most of the newer content on the site was hosted.
Yeah.
And the topics there are pretty much the same, but there's extra topics for like nature and general science and stuff like that. So basically what we have here is just a place on the internet run by these two people, JC Stanton and Jeff Hunter, where anything goes. You can just log in here and you can just put whatever crazy shit you want to put on here.
Not gonna lie, these free speech centers that we keep finding and talking about, I can't help but notice that whenever I see something that says like this is a free speech zone, I immediately am like, okay, so this is gonna be racist and terrible. Is what you're telling me?
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's like, it just sets itself up for that, because anything that wouldn't fall into those categories already has a space on the internet.
That's
So,
that's fair.
by default, this is where you're going to end up with everything
This is
else.
Yeah, that's fair. So by saying free speech, aka anything goes, you are literally only attracting the bad because all the good already has a platform. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
fucking sense.
So, see 4chan.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
But you guys want to cover some more specific examples of like what's in these broader categories that I listed?
Boy,
Yeah,
oh boy, do I.
Yeah, Jason's got some zingers here. So
You know what? I was just gonna rip the Band-Aid off for some of the more jarring things you could find, but I'm gonna take a community vote between you, Doug, and you, Matt. Would you
Okay.
like to hear from the Cult of the Dead Cow, anti-gravity experiments,
Mm.
a how to build a packet sniffer, a Christian FAQ for those looking to find God, or something a little bit more dark?
Oh, you can't do that.
That last one is split into like 7 separate topics, and I'm just gonna pick one at random. There is one that I'm saving for the very end.
are you waiting for?
Yeah, you guys tell me what do you want me to talk about?
I'm interested in the packet sniffer, but I don't know if that's the most interesting thing.
I mean, it probably isn't, but I'm also interested. I know what a packet sniffer is.
I know what it is too, but I want to know the
funny.
contents of the article.
So
Literally the contents of the article, it's not as malevolent as I thought. It does contain, I'm not sure if the link works because I really don't fucking trust the site.
I know
like
that's
at all,
yeah.
especially because parts of it are still kind of active. I didn't want to download a rogue file that contains what's supposed to be a tool to spy on
Basically
other people's
spyware.
data. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want that on my computer to link me back to this, but it does have a file and it gives you instructions on how to use it. And essentially what it says is it as long as it has connection to the internet, it is able to basically read and copy all packets sent from your computer. It's basically allowing whoever has this program or has like the back end of this program to literally watch everything that you do on your whenever you use internet from your IP address.
Right.
And it's just whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's detailed instructions on how to install this on somebody's computer. Now, I will say this probably isn't very useful anymore, and I actually just realized this, that because this is from the mid-90s, there's no operating system that most people use right now where this would actually fucking work. But it tells you kind of like the basics and the fundamentals about how it works. So if you wanted to build your own,
Yeah, bear
Maybe.
in mind, all of these
maybe.
articles were written like 20 plus years ago now. So
yeah, they're very old. So I'm guessing some of the technology stuff is incredibly outdated.
Well, yeah, one
Well-
of their fucking technology prompts is pagers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, there's a lot of outdated stuff, but there's also a lot of stuff in here that actually would be useful, but stuff that you could find in like places that aren't as sketchy. Like there's a lot of Unix information that hasn't really changed. There's a lot of cryptography information that hasn't really changed.
Yeah, there is a whole section on cryptography, which is like, I mean, yeah, not a lot of that has changed. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, that's definitely a good resource to use. But there are better places to learn about it. I will say that.
Yeah.
I don't this is a cesspool.
Find a textbook, find a YouTube video from some dude in India who's like way better than any of my teachers at explaining stuff.
If I hear that this is on any one of your like quick links when you boot up Google Chrome, I'm gonna be fucking furious. But yeah, so
Matt's reviving it.
Huh?
He's reviving.
I think
the
Diluti
temple.
might be reviving the Temple of the Screaming Electron. Who knows? I mean, you can get in touch with them. They're still active. They still operate in different forms elsewhere. But yeah, so that's one of the things you can find. It's basically a how-to instructional on how to spy on anybody that you really want, as long as you have access to their computer or some device of theirs.
Cult of the Dead Cow.
You want to do the Cult of the Dead Cow?
I want to do Cult of the Dead Cow.
Okay, so the Cult of the Dead Cow, as Matt said, was a hacker group from the 80s and 90s. You can find them elsewhere at this point. It's literally, it's just like it's an information sharing, like essentially what we've found that works, but it's also a source for bovine specific.
What would you call it? Fan fiction?
That's really the only thing I can call it, I think,
Like
is
furry
fan
erotica?
fiction. Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
I
That's
learned
right.
like that.
their leathers.
This is an excerpt from it's from a store an experience. It outlines the experiences of fucking.
Why don't you just read it?
All right. So this is from the Cult of the Dead Cow. It is an excerpt from something called the Bovinomicon, which is fantastic.
Hell yeah.
But this is an excerpt of part of the text. It's it's two separate excerpts that are maybe a page apart. So here's what you're gonna find if you visit the Bovinomicon. The whore rolled over, pointing her broad backside at the flesh man. And without needing further invitation, he guided his potty plunger into her gaping glory hole. Suddenly, this is a page and a half later. Suddenly, the flesh man felt a warm sensation at the head of his cock, and a blast of hot air enveloped his shaft. He came with a shuddering jerk, grabbing the whore by her prodigious love handles and thrusting his spurting tool into her, fighting the seemingly endless blast of air that blew his cum back out of her ass. And then at the end, it tells you how to grow opium.
And now for something completely different.
Were on when they were writing it.
I would like to think so, but like I remember reading parts of the story, and I remember reading this because Kelly made a comment. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "If I'm being honest, no." But here we are. At the very end, I just started laughing my fucking ass off because like who writes a fart porn story, which is what this is, by the way.
Randy.
And then ends it with how to grow opium. Like, what?
Hey, man.
The Cult of the Dead Cow. That's
yes, the Cult of the Deceased Bovine.
What was going on in the 90s? This stuff?
Fart.
It was a much simpler time.
Is this the beginning of Brazilian fart porn?
I mean, we're getting close. It's definitely teetering.
We were watching Saturday morning cartoons, and some dude was just like in his basement punching this out on like a fucking
yeah,
punching this out and punching himself out. Fucking.
No, I can't go there. Did I ever tell you guys about the chat records of somebody named Jolly Roger? Did I bring that up? I feel like I brought that up last time.
I feel like you did.
If I'll leave it at that, and if anyone chooses to explore that venue of Google searching, go for it. I am so sorry for everything you're about to learn. They're all parody chats, but it's essentially someone getting grotesquely pornographic with people on like chat services.
You did talk about that.
Okay, but he's a pirate.
Pretty normal. Oh yeah, you did talk about that last time. Okay, the pirates. Yeah.
Fairly normal Wednesday for us over here.
The pirate jogged Matt's memory.
Yeah, the pirate thing is what stood out to me. None of the other stuff was just like, yeah, I've heard this before.
Well, if you
pirate,
pirate, got it. Okay,
yar.
So I mean that's the Cult of the Dead Cow. There's a bunch of sections on like anti-gravity experiments from all the way back from like 1932 all the way up through like 1985 or something like that.
I've been in one of those before.
Anti-gravity machine?
Mm-hmm.
Like a legit one?
Yeah, it's like a little sphere and they lock your arms and legs at the top and they spin you around and it's like at a family fun park and shit.
About.
So that's it's funny you bring that up because that technology literally is like what this is that's what this is based on. It says that gyroscopes lose weight when they spin real fast. Now, it also says that they doubted that like these stunning scientific advances, they doubt they would actually survive intense scrutiny. Which to me means that they know that it's wrong.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
Like they know that that's not right.
But then they were just like, I'm gonna take up space on this message board for this. Even though I know it's bullshit.
It was like when I
here's some Metallica lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. Japanese anti-gravity experiments followed by the lyrics to Master of Puppets. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it goes over like the different scientists who are performing said works and like a lot of the different experiments and introductions to anti-gravity in the sense that you might know anti-gravity as. It's actually pretty fascinating. They go into like things about tachyons, if you know what that are. It's basically a time particle.
Yeah.
It's interesting
That's
to
what
read.
The Beatles were getting into a couple episodes ago.
I I think they were
Ringo.
dosing themselves with tachyons.
Ringo took too many tachyons. I'm sorry,
consider
people in our
my
Discord are
pants pissed.
posting gifs of cake farts.
Oh, God damn it. I forgot about cake fart. Oh, cake farts.
You know what I like the most?
Cake
Carry on.
farts.
Let's carry on, Jason. What else?
Yeah, we're just going to rehash the whole video. We don't want to do that. Anyway, moving right along. So
That's an
following the anti-gravity experiments, there is a very large Christian frequently asked questions for those looking to find God.
You think they found him?
Not on this website.
God has left the building.
Shucks.
Not the
God
God
has
they're-
left the bulletin board.
Definitely not the God they're looking for. There's an epic, a legit epic, and it's called the Epic of Discordia, and it's a religious text. And I'm going to call it this because I don't know what else to call it, but it is a poop flavored religion.
Poop flavored, huh?
Like every ounce of the religion has to do with poop. Like there's the holy shit, like there's everything has to do with like different types of poop, and their holy object, the holiest of holy objects is it's called the holy object of Eris, which is literally just flubber. And after every time they say the word flubber, in brackets it says "watch it ooze."
Like the green,
Like the green from the movie. Yeah.
Yes.
from the movie Flubber. Oh,
Yep.
Yum.
It is an epic about how the world was created according to poop, I guess. I'm not 100% sure.
guys, how's this? What? How did we get here?
Mike's
We looked
not
under
here.
the internet.
We did the thing we told everyone we shouldn't do.
Sometimes I question if I'm even real.
Hey, do you want to know how to get high off bananas and Sprite?
Oh yeah,
because you can learn to do
Absolutely,
that.
I do.
that's more up my alley for
you
sure.
can absolutely
Yeah.
learn how to do it. Do you just want to go over that?
Yeah, I got bananas and
I don't
and
know.
Sprite.
Is this a real thing? Should we be giving people instructions?
I don't know if I'm being 100%
It's just gonna be like 2 minutes of just the fucking bleep noise.
Honestly, I'm afraid that if I start reading that, that's what it's going to turn into.
Let's just not.
let's
Let's
just-
not.
yeah.
We could just. We could.
Those are there,
It's there though.
Let's not tell everyone.
Yeah, I don't want to
exactly
be.
how-
I don't want to be liable for that.
No, not at all. As long as we preface it with "you absolutely should not," and it is illegal to do these exact instructions that we're going to outline.
Though
for
we
you.
did
Do
give
not-
partial instructions on how to butcher a body in the last episode. So
That's true. That is true. So where do you draw the line? I
We've
guess
set precedent.
Bananas and Sprite is where we draw the line. Apparently,
we identify too much with the Church of fucking Euthanasia to not agree with them. Apparently,
we must give the teachings out, but we talking about bananas and Sprite, and so
At some point in my life, I am absolutely certain that I'm going to be sitting in a room with somebody who has a title in a government office, and that a question about something that's come up on this podcast is going to be.
Oh, absolutely. I really hope they have the four of us separated by like really solid walls and just try to fucking get all the info they can out of us. And we're just like, I don't know, man. We get drunk on Tuesdays and we talk about stupid shit. And apparently you think that's offensive.
I look at things on the website I shouldn't be looking at. I don't know what to tell you, man.
on May of 2023, you said this. I said that?
What? I drink a lot, man. I'm sorry. What else do we want to know about? Do you guys want to know how to launder money? The easy way to launder money?
Sure.
By a
This was
fucking
probably before
laundromat?
those holographic thingies were printed into the money, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
This is a very long how-to. Essentially it's the poor man's
What
how-to guide.
What the fuck is that under money laundering?
Ricin?
That fucking death pill drug thing?
So yes, you can. I now know how to make ricin.
Oh god damn it.
That's all there is to it. It's literally the beans are heavily
We
involved.
are
I
giving
wanna
you
say
too
that.
much power.
This is just on the internet, man. Like you can just go here. You can just look at this shit.
Yeah, the fact that this is still there is amazing.
It's insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
full blown
It's not.
up.
It's
and-
not at the original domain name. Isn't it TOTSEANS now?
Yeah, it's Totsians or whatever the fuck. Yeah, it's not the same one, but it's totsi.totsians.com and then / whatever the fuck you want.
Totes my goats, dude.
If you don't put the Tosi dot in front of it, now it just takes you to like some far right conspiracy theory like news website.
That still kind of sounds right, though.
Yeah. That sounds like it takes you to the same exact website.
On brand for sure.
Where were we at? Ricin. Okay, right. Oh yeah. So in the vein, in case you don't know what ricin is or have never seen Breaking Bad, ricin is a bean. It's a bean-based poison that mimics like flu-like symptoms until you die a couple days later and nobody can trace it. It's essentially an untraceable poison. It's the fact that you can find how to make this online is very concerning. But in the same vein, you can also find on this website how to make VX, sarin, nerve, and mustard gas.
Mustard.
They got the formulas right there. You can also find out how to make meth, different types of meth. Crocodile's on there.
Okay.
Please, for the love of God, don't ever try to make crocodile. That is so fucking dangerous. It's Russian knockoff meth.
Oh,
which that sentence by itself should tell you all you need to know.
It's like the salvia.
Always comes back to Russia.
Yeah, it is. It's just like the salvia of meth. Yeah, that's a good.
Salvia's pretty dope though.
Big money salvia.
It fucks you, that's for sure.
Gardening on salvia, it's the best way to do it.
There is also a whole section dedicated to cute parrot jokes.
Yo, give me one. Let me hear it.
I don't know why. I
fucking knock.
This is the wholesome content.
I thought this is what you guys wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Do you even know us?
I guess not. Here, I thought you were gonna be like, "Ooh, tell us about like the hamster fucking you found or something."
I mean,
please don't.
I have an idea, and it probably ends up. I guess.
So here's the cute parrot joke.
Oh Jesus Christ! All right.
So there's this fellow with a parrot, and this parrot swears like a sailor. You know what? I'm not going to do this because I already know you both are going to be so fucking angry with me at the end of this because it's not worth it. Like it's not fucking worth it. It's going to take 5 minutes. It's
just read the last line.
As they walk out of the kitchen together, the parrot asks, "By the way, what did the chicken do?"
Gets me every time.
Great. But there is a considering the shit that you can find on here, there's a lot of wholesome content just like this. Like there are so many of these.
Just everything.
It's just everything. But I mean, I shouldn't be able to see like a girl's guide to condoms next to a cute parrot. That's
important.
I mean, it is, but it doesn't have any. It's not a joke.
See,
why is this in the joke section?
I had a really good time reading all the e-zines that were on there.
Yeah, the e-zines are fun.
There's just a lot of like, so I guess a good analogy for this is like if you were to go to paranoia.com, you're going to get links and pictures and a bunch of bullshit. So it's like the Facebook of right now. This is like the Twitter of right now because everyone who started a thread basically just ripped whatever info from whatever website and just pasted it here instead of like linking
to it. Yeah, like the Cult
of
the Dead Cow thing is just like rehosts of stuff that.
Yeah. It's a repository from the Cult of the Dead Cow.
Like the last e-zine I was reading earlier was called the magazine is called Toxic Custard Workshop, and it is basically like a fake. I don't know if it's fake, but it was basically like here's some classes we'll teach. Followed by, do you suffer hair loss? Ever considered baldness? And then goes into instructions on how to get into a machine called the hair suction, and that the machine has been especially developed by dangerous electronics. And basically a large vacuum attaches to your head and just rips your fucking hair off.
So and it's like a shitty Flowbee.
And then it goes into like computer technology, COT 313, insulting lecturers 1, LEC 301, and then like queuing up for photocopiers. Like it's like the most random shit. Like how to do a beginner's pub crawl. Like what the fuck? Like what was happening?
There's a shirt you can buy.
Oh, yes.
That just says it's not gay to like butt sex. I mean, there's everything. I'm sitting in front of the Dr. Seuss purity test, which is assumedly just a bunch of questions said in Dr. Seuss rhymes about fucking people, is what I'm seeing.
He was kind of a dirty bastard, though.
Have you done it wearing mitts? Have you done it tween the tits? Have you done it packed in rubber? Have you done it undercover? Have you done it on a perch? Have you done it in a church? Have you done it in a virgin? Have you done it with a sturgeon? And it just goes and goes and goes. Apparently, you're supposed to score yourself, and
how many?
It's one of those. It's a test.
This is what we were using computer networking for.
Yep. This is
the future.
This is the hackers. What's it called? Cosmopolitan or whatever, the magazine.
Oh yeah.
Where they're like, oh, I gotta do the test, see how much he likes me.
Yeah.
But it's just Dr. Seuss being a dirty old bastard.
More or less, 100%. Yeah, it's guys. Anytime you see a free speech section, like a haven for free speech on the internet, it just means you're gonna find a bunch of fucked up shit. Like that's really all it means.
Yeah. Or just a bunch of old conservative Karens screaming at each other.
Yeah, that's
I feel like that's what it is now, because like they try to do that with like Parler or whatever, right?
Yeah, Parler,
or Truth Social or whatever the fuck, and it's just a bunch of old people just getting
just screaming.
Yeah,
right.
It's not.
But
as
I
cool
will
as
say, no.
I use the term cool loosely.
This last point is going to definitely detract from that a bit.
Okay,
because I am going to say, much like Truth Social and Parler, there is a whole manifesto about how God ordained the Holocaust.
God damn it.
Oh my God, no.
It's a very long text. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with,
don't read any of it.
I'm not going to, no. God, fuck no. This is much happier. Much happier.
This is a cute parrot joke.
No, it's not a cute parrot joke. It's not that happy. I'm sorry.
I need eye bleach.
You're about to need ear bleach.
Oh my God, isn't that a fucking Reddit forum?
Eye bleach? Yeah.
Eye bleach? Yeah, good Lord.
Well, no, that's a good one. Eye bleach is like puppies and shit. And like, it
what
like
was the bad
cleanses your
one?
palate. Are you talking about 50-50?
No, 50-50 is fine now. It's
I
pretty
have so
tame.
many bad ones.
It's fine now.
Well, yeah, it used to be like, is it
a cute kitten or
is it
14
your
prolapsed anuses?
Yeah, is it
I haven't been there in a long
exploded
time.
penis?
It used to be horrible.
Horrendous. Absolutely no. So,
some of the most fucked up shit I've seen on the internet has come from that subreddit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. God yeah. A lot of my nights that I was drinking ended up with throwing up because of that site.
I think they've really cracked down on like the gore side of Reddit for some reason.
There used to be a lot of really fucked up shit on Reddit, like 5 to 10 years ago. It's a lot more heavily moderated than it used to be.
Oh God, yes. Which it brings its pros and it brings its cons. That's for sure.
I wonder if Gorgasm is still a website. You ever go to that one?
I don't think I did, but out of pure curiosity, I'm gonna.
It's what you think it is. So
yeah.
Is it like?
Explanatory.
Can I find a Serbian film there?
No, you're gonna find the real thing there.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know if it's still a site though. It's been like
well, look, I'm sure we'll cover
10
it at
plus
some
years.
point.
Yeah. Anyways, not to sneak into my past life.
The last thing that I do want to talk about is I could only get through like a third of this, but there's a whole story about some dude breaking into, he worked at, I think it's like SeaWorld or some aquarium or something like that. And he broke in after hours because he had been thinking about this for so long. And he goes into excruciating detail about fucking several dolphins.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
That's all you can do. Like what? It's the descriptions that he used. This is another one that Kelly caught. Like she caught my face as I was reading this one, and she goes, "Holy shit, what's wrong?" And I go, "I promise you don't want to fucking know." She
The
goes, "Are you
fucked
doing
up shit
research?"
that
I
you
go,
see on a
"Yes."
daily basis, if you're reacting to something, then you know it's good.
She knows to not inquire further for sure at this point, because she has made that mistake before, and if she wants to see, I'll show her, but like she knows better now. But yeah, that's just some of the examples. There's so much more on this website. I hoped that I touched at least a little bit of everything there. Like,
oh, you did.
I went over a lot. The emotional roller coaster that I rode while researching for this was fucking insane. But enough with the fun stuff. Let's talk about some of the more newsworthy stuff.
Well, so a lot of these people who are frequenting this forum, they like to get together and kind of cause some minor inconveniences is the best way I could put it, because it wasn't anything like super crazy that they did.
I
but
think the description of the section on the website that covers most of this is called "How to Be Annoying as Fuck."
Yeah.
Literally, like one was like how to piss people off if you're 13.
Yeah,
I thought that one was pretty funny. But like, so in real life, some people got together and basically just did hacker related, internet related kind of like pranks essentially. So one of them was in England, and basically a bunch of people hacked a parking sign that would show how many cars are in the parking lot, or how many spots were left in the parking lot, and instead they just turned it to say "fuck you." So like that got a little newsworthy note going on. There was actually an article in 1993 that was written about this website, and they described them as an information network providing criminal insights to anyone with a phone, personal computer, or a modem. And basically just it goes on to just be like, yeah, these guys are a bunch of like bums and hacks and fucking they're just a bunch of dickheads. It's like they literally just like we're ripping these people a new one because they were basically just giving you free information on how to scam and do whatever you wanted.
Blow shit
up. So one of the funnier things though is they all fucking a bunch of the Tootsie members call into this guy's show called Live Prayer with Bill Keller, and they just prank called the shit out of this man.
That's right.
Like I'm on board egregiously. And it was actually really funny, but I guess there was a bad apple because a Tootsie member themselves actually emailed him and warned him like, hey, this is this website doing these things to you. And
what a narc.
Kind of like totally blew the whole thing. But like, yeah, they just like went to town on this man, which I think is fucking hilarious.
Oh, same.
And he was like, I'm gonna fucking do some legal action on you guys and shit. And like, who knows if this was like one of the big things that led to down the line of the website not being a thing anymore. But yeah, basically they just were doing some dumb shit. Oh, they did, I will say, they were placed on an Australian terrorism poster in 2006.
Oh, wow.
So if that says anything.
Yeah, was that the parking sign one?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. They just, and that's really it. Like a lot of the dumb shit they would is they'd like graffiti Tootsie on walls, and this seemed like a lot of this was happening, not quite in the U.S., but like a little bit in the U.S. But it was a lot of Australia and England, that a lot of this was coming from for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the FBI and the Australian government were like seriously starting to threaten the website at one point, and we'll go into that a little bit later. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But that's kind of the dumb shit that these people were doing.
Yeah, it's all bark, no bite, more or less.
You got you got anything else on this, Jason?
So I will say I did have something, and I actually learned a lot more about this than I really ever should have. While I was writing the outline for this, I found what I thought was the constitution for the Temple of the Screaming Electron. It turns out it is. However, it is in reference to something called Cyber Nations, which is a browser-based, like, United Nations simulation, like, world type thing. And so everyone gets to make their own nation, make a constitution.
Like an MMO, basically. Like a text MMO.
More or less, but yeah. It's,
so Civ.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things were really popular on these bulletin board systems. Like there were lots of bulletin board systems that hosted multiplayer games that basically you logged in and like you did your daily thing and then logged out, and then somebody else could log in and do their daily thing. And it was like an online multiplayer game, but it wasn't really online because it wasn't like you had the game and you were connecting to somebody else who had the game. You were just like logging into this system to play it. It was with like other people who were logging in.
So it was like a scenario that was set up, and people basically just went along with whatever conditions were there. And
I mean, it got closer to video games than I think you would expect. There was like ASCII art and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
I will say it was like rather hard to find any information out about this website that wasn't from the website.
Right.
Like there was very little being said. Like there wasn't any YouTube videos. There wasn't
Reddit is actually a wealth of information about it.
That's where I went for a lot of the information. That's like one of the only places that gave me any insight into other things, like from a user perspective or like just a little history that, you know, you couldn't find from their like posts on the Tootsie website.
Oh yeah.
It was really interesting because I was like, I thought I knew all the creepy websites and shit when I was a kid in the 90s, but
Never heard
apparently
of this.
not. Yeah.
Never heard of this until we started looking into it. And
The
sorry,
thing
go
with-
ahead, Matt.
The thing with these is like, back when this was happening, like this actually was legitimately underground. Like when this was
Yeah.
online as a bulletin board, not when it was online as a website, because like in its heyday in the mid 2000s, I think they were getting like 89,000 visits a day or something like that, like something crazy. But like
Damn.
when like these bulletin board systems were online in the mid 90s, like maybe like 20,000 people at most actually knew they existed. So there's a lot of stuff out there like this, I think, that like people
Yeah.
that aren't as well known as like.
Yeah, I think some
Damn.
of the bigger ones are similar to this. They just got like lucky or
Yeah.
pushed into the limelight more or less. But there's always going to be these very weird free speechy message boards that you can find. I'm sure there's over 1,000 out right now that you can just go and, I mean, specific to different towns or national, whatever. I mean, they're always going to be around, but now with the internet being what it is, it's much easier to get your message out and like attract people.
This very much makes me want to like just do more research into just the history of like internet laws.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
how it's evolved from then to now. Like obviously you can't just like have a website with like free speech on it, because why would they do that, you know?
Why would they?
I mean, you kind of can, but I feel like there's now a certain line that's been drawn somewhere where it's like, all right, this is acceptable, but like,
Well,
if
that's
you
a
add a
big
picture
legal
to it-
debate they're
Mhm.
having now. That's Title 238 or something like that, I think, where like they're trying to make it, in the States at least, they're trying to make it like so that someone who hosts a website is legally responsible for the content that ends up getting hosted on that website. Because as the law is written right now, like if you provide infrastructure like this where people can just go host stuff, like it's expected that you'll do some sort of moderation, but it's not 100%. Like it's a pretty much a gray area whether you're legally responsible for the things that people end up putting on there.
Mhm.
And they're trying to like better define that right now. Like that's a huge debate that's actually going on.
I can see why they'd want that to happen, but I can also see some issues there just simply with free speech. You know what I mean? Because like there are definitely areas of free speech that I personally think should be regulated. You know, hate speech being a big one. I don't think anyone should tolerate that. But because we do live in the US and we are guaranteed the freedom to say whatever the fuck we want, I'm not 100% sure like how
it's like, you know,
like how does that work without
I get what you're trying to say, because it's like there's like this weird moral gray area. It's like, yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want to hear the KKK hate
Hmm.
speeching,
no
but we'd love to hear someone hate speech the KKK.
exactly. And that's like I get that from the moral compass standpoint, the KKK and everything they stand for is not great.
Right.
It's just a bad way to be. And we've all kind of decided that as a society. But that's not what freedom of speech is. Freedom of speech is literally to, like, if you are a person, you can open your mouth and you can say whatever the fuck you want. Does that protect you from the consequences of what other people might say to you back? No, not even
No.
remotely.
It just keeps
But the
you
fact
from
is-
ending up in court because you said something.
Right.
Exactly. And that is I don't ever want to see that get taken away, because like you should be able to express what you're thinking on the inside. If people collectively choose to hate you for that, that's fine.
This would all work better if more people had a better just like moral compass.
It really would.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
That's
just
the
not-
thing about the internet is like when you give people anonymity and like tell them it's a free speech place, like you see the real fiber of humanity pretty quickly.
Oh God.
yeah,
It's
unfortunately.
not great. Yeah,
I've
very
been-
unfortunately.
I've played League of Legends for a long time. I've seen my fair share of just terrible
Toxic
things.
humanity.
Section 230 is what I was talking about.
Section 230.
Yeah,
Okay.
So if you want to know
Okay.
more about that, if you want to get like involved and talk to your Congress people about that, that's like a big debate that's going on right now. The big concern about that is that essentially if the government makes people that host websites like Facebook and stuff like that liable for the stuff that ends up on their platform, there's going to be a lot more surveillance, and Google's going to be looking at your messages and stuff like that more closely with like automated tools and stuff like that, and basically spying on you to make sure that you're not hosting bad shit on their platform. So it's a whole thing. If you want to get into that,
Yeah. We don't have time for that, but
Matt, that would be a fun bonus topic.
Right.
I have a lot to say about that. I think you and I both have a lot to say about that.
anyhow.
Anyway,
Or Jason, I don't know where we were.
yeah, no, I was literally just going over. So this, the only reason I kept this like in like the shit we're going to talk about today is simply because it kind of highlights like, yes, this the Temple of the Screaming Electron is incredibly niche, and like not a lot, even today, not a lot of people know about it. However, it still has like put its tentacles into like multiple different areas where it be the online gaming community. You'll find them there. You can find them in different forums. You can find them in political discussions. Like the people that were a part of the original Temple of the Screaming Electron website, they're still very much active. And I mean, like I said, on Reddit, it's a wealth of information. And within the first 30 posts, you can find 7 or 8 different like, hey, has anybody like heard from this username? Like I used to interact with them all the time on the website. Like, how's he doing? And there was another one that it was like this whole memorial for some guy who used to post a lot of, albeit very hardcore drug like FAQs and like how to make this, how to do that, and whatsoever. And there was
how do you think he passed?
I'm gonna go ahead and say he died of a car accident.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he was trying to cook meth.
I think
one of the guides on the
he was cooking meth in a car. That's the car accident that happened.
Right.
Mobile meth home.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like even though this the Temple of the Screaming Electron was super underground, it still managed to influence like a lot of different websites, and I feel like it had its hand in essentially forming what we see as modern age free speech havens, I guess, online. Each one of these, to me, anyways, almost like a trial and error. You know what I mean?
Well, I one of the things I was just thinking about too is kind of like, how many are there that we know of, and then it brings me back to like Lake City Quiet Pills.
Yeah.
How many were hidden that nobody ever saw, and how much worse could it have been?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, that's the nature of these BBS systems, is that like to get connected to this, before it was a website, to get connected to this, you would have had to have known the phone number of the computer you were trying to log into. So like there could have been ones like this that only a select few people knew, or it was difficult to find out about, that you called into, and there was God knows what the fuck was on there.
I don't
there was no way for like Google or like people who would have had any authority to do anything about it to just search for these things, really. So
yeah, it was much harder to.
It could have gotten way worse than this, and I'm sure it did.
And if it didn't, it absolutely should have, because as we've seen in the past, like information and these repositories tend to get worse in their content before they get better. That's for fucking sure. But I mean, that's really all. I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that, like, yes, nobody knows about this, but it definitely it influenced part of the internet.
So speaking of like why these places are havens for just bad, let's talk about why it disbanded.
Was it bad?
It was bad.
It was bad.
So
Cool.
I had to dig a little bit for this information. So I'm actually going to read you the account of a now deleted Reddit user, so I don't have their name, but their firsthand account with the leading up, or I guess the time where it was gonna like get fucked over to where it did. So basically this guy said Jeff Hunter made a huge server upgrade after years of having the same server just a few weeks before he shut the website down. Why would he have made this huge investment after not doing it for years if he knew he was going to shut Tootsie down in a few weeks, when it would take him months or years to recoup his investment? Did he get burnt out overnight and then burnt out enough to take severe financial losses? And he also made it very clear to the Tootsie members that the FBI was pressuring him on numerous occasions
Really?
to shut this shit down.
Huh.
So he was very much getting, like, there were a lot of eyes on this website from the FBI and the Australian government, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So
That's wild.
So in response to the pressure, Jeff made it a permaban to say Tootsie Army, TA or TNA, or anything that could be like construed to be talking about the Tootsie Army, which was likely the reason FBI was interested in the first place. And this was obviously an attempt to keep Tootsie from getting shut down by the FBI for being an actual terrorist organization.
I was going to ask, was that like a call sign of what they identified as like a terrorist group?
I guess so. I'm not
That
quite
had to be the
sure
buzzword.
how that works, but yeah. So basically, the Australian government ends up officially declaring Tootsie as a terrorist organization. So that's when that poster came up with the like.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, so if Tootsie was a terrorist organization, then Jeff was its leader essentially, and that would have made him basically go to prison for life if he didn't actually take action. So,
Well, I don't see the hard choice there.
so yeah, basically, like, you know, when all those people were going around spray painting this shit all over the place, that was like a huge reason, like a huge like red flag, and I think Jeff got like real nervous about all that. And basically we're led to believe
Panic button.
yeah, that for no like basically he almost made it seem to his people that for no apparent reason he just pulled the plug without selling the domain name or allowing like another user to take over. So I think the most likely scenario is that he basically got bribed to shut it down, and that's why he didn't pass the torch pretty
Like
much.
by the FBI? You think they were just
Yep.
like, look, we're going to give you like $100,000 if you just delete
Well,
it.
keep in mind this is all the account of someone that was apparently big in
Right.
Tootsie at the time.
We don't know how to contact either of the people who were behind this thing.
Yeah,
And there's no verification for any of this.
yeah, and this would also explain why he was willing to shut down so shortly after making a huge investment to a
Yep.
server upgrade, because like, oh, here I get my costs back. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want
Plus a
anyone to have
bunch.
it? Sure, bam, shut it down, shut that shit down right now.
I truly don't care.
So the other thing is, no one's really heard from Jeff since the server shut down.
Name is Jeff.
So maybe he
Yeah, we
was
don't.
arrested, charged, and seized.
Maybe
Like,
he got bleach poured on his face and then set on fire.
yeah, probably. That sounds most likely.
I
What
think
had
Jeff's
happened?
real identity is Elon Musk.
Elon
Now
Jeff.
he's starting. Now he's trying to turn Twitter into what he once had.
Which tracks considering the threats that the European Union just gave him.
It all makes sense. It adds up.
It all adds up.
I think
Well,
I need
mean-
to dump a text file in in here.
Is
to
that what
explain
they're
my
calling it
theory.
nowadays?
Dump a text file.
Got to dump a text file.
So,
Got
go ahead.
It's got the
One
code
more
of my
joke? Go ahead,
DNA
get
in
it out.
I don't know.
You fucking packet sniffer.
You fucking packet sniffer.
Hey, your mom's a packet sniffer. I parked my text file in her garage last night.
This has like become the most nerdy. Like,
This is the nerdiest banter ever. Like, there's nothing that beats this.
that's this good.
Put my text file right in your repository.
Oh.
Cloned your mom.
Anyways,
God, we're idiots. Sorry, Doug.
I'm gonna call your mom. How about
She's
that?
compiling
Anyways.
my baby as we speak.
Oh wait, guys, real quick, Mike, if you're listening to this, tell Janine I say what's up.
Hey, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
It's been a minute. I think she thinks that you forgot about her.
She did. Janine, I'm so sorry. I know you're still probably maybe a Patreon, and you might be listening to this right now.
Probably. Oh,
What's up?
in the Discord?
No,
I doubt that.
course
How
not.
amazing would that be, though?
she doesn't know how to use Discord.
You don't know that.
I don't, but I can only
Maybe
assume.
it skips a generation.
No. Jesus Christ.
That's why Mike doesn't have a clue.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it.
Anyways,
What are we drinking? What are we
thinking? There's a bottle here, it's empty.
Well, now's a good time as ever. I'm drinking some pineapple
I'm
hard cider.
drinking strawberry lemonade. They're both Two Fools
Yeah.
cidery.
We went to the Two Fools Brewery over the weekend.
Which we did.
I've got Cultivate Pale Ale from Brow Brothers Brewing Company,
Mm.
Marshall,
A
Minnesota.
A pale ale.
The pale ale.
Glad we got that out of the way. Let me just jump back into this conversation here. So Jeff never revealed his identity, so no one will actually ever know what happened to him because nobody actually knows who he really was. We just get this fake name, essentially.
This is like a Bitcoin, who invented Bitcoin type thing?
Yeah.
Who created Tootsie?
B-Coin.
Got it.
Byler,
Benjamin Coin.
Bikel Coin.
Tootsie coin, different than goatee coin.
Oh, no. I'm never gonna. I have like literally two sentences left of any sort of semblance of this episode.
Your sentences are going to be goatsy flavored now, so just
what's the
say
other
what you gotta
flavor? Shit flavor?
Poop flavored,
Poop
yeah.
flavored,
Poop
right.
flavored and goatsy flavored.
Jeff never revealed his identity, so we'll never know what happened to him. Some even say it's a honeypot from the start. All right, I can't keep that up. So some say he got hired by an intelligence service.
It's a honeypot. Number 15.
Number 15.
Some say he got hired by an intelligence services. Anyways, that's really it. He might have been killed, arrested, bribed. Who cares? Fuck it. I'm over it. We're done.
He's gone now.
we have in fact reached the end of our talking points.
No, Matt.
Oh no, we got one more. You're right.
Let's let Matt try and do his part.
Yeah.
Hi.
Go on.
So I have been tasked with explaining what other websites might be slightly similar to this. We've already been over paranoia.com. Yeah. So if you listened last week, that paranoia.com was pretty similar to this. I think a lot of things like this that still exist live on the dark web at this point. I think there are like lots of repositories of just random information, like how to make drugs and cook bombs and whatnot on the dark web. We all know the story of Silk Road, that was more of a marketplace though, where you could buy and sell drugs. But but like the idea of free speech and just like being able to post whatever the fuck you want. I mean, we've already been over like those shitty Twitter knockoffs. And like until probably like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 7 years ago, a lot of places like 4chan and the other Chan spinoffs were like kind of havens of this sort of shit. But I think by and large, most of those have a lot more moderation than they used to. Like I
think all of them do.
Yeah. Like a long time ago, like 15 years ago, you can go on 4chan and see whatever the fuck you wanted to see.
Oh yeah. X was insane. It
Yeah.
still is, if I'm being honest, but
Right, it's still insane, but it's way less insane than it used to be. And then we already mentioned like Rotten.com, which is just another website where people would just go to post horrible shit. Mostly
that was like
gore.
the staple shock site.
Yeah, mostly gore though.
Mostly gore.
Very much, mostly gore.
And then we also have like, if you follow cybersecurity news, there are a lot of places that are like cybercrime forums, and a lot of those places are kind of usually they're hosted in Russia, or at least hosted by Russians. There's a pretty famous one that recently got shut down called Breach Forums, and it basically existed for like trading, like hacking information, data dumps, stolen credit cards, that sort of shit. And like a lot of that stuff is notably shutting down now because the FBI has gotten a lot smarter about infiltrating this kind of thing. So it's gotten to the point where they're getting a lot better at tracing who's in charge of hosting this shit and shutting it down. But they've also started doing this thing where basically they've noticed a pattern where when there are a lot of users on a site that's hosting a lot of illegal content, what they'll do is they'll wait until they've compromised the most obvious place for those people to go when it shuts down, and they'll compromise that site, and then they'll shut down the one that everybody's using, and then when everybody flees to the next one and signs up and gives them their email addresses and shit, then they've got them.
We got them, boys.
That's super smart.
Yeah. So because of like the FBI is actually getting like cyber literate now, a lot of stuff like this is being shut down kind of before it
because they're taking a bunch of the people who pioneered the bullshit to be on their team, which is smart, I guess.
It is very smart.
Yeah, also that.
But also, fuck you.
Yeah.
I just want to hack your interwebs.
I mean, to be honest, like I fully support the free speech centers. Like I think they're great. I think anyone should be able to say whatever the fuck they want. I also think though they should have disclaimers saying, "Hey, don't follow any advice here. There's no one here advocating this. This is not like this is just because it's posted here does not mean that anyone thinks that you should do this." And I think that's a distinction that I would say a solid 20% of the people that visit these sites just don't make. And I think that's where the problem lies. I think it's the people that look at all of this stuff and take it as like gospel and say like, "Oh, because you posted this here, that means I should do it." And that's not, nope. You're not using the internet right, bud. Like you're not using it correctly. Yeah. So I don't know. I think these sites are super cool. You can find some super, super fun stuff on them. You can find some super fucked up stuff on them too. You know, like dolphin sex and the like, and
the like.
Fucking church.
It gets way worse than
dead
that.
Cow. It does. Yeah. We were pretty tame.
Yeah.
It gets way
we
worse.
skipped over a
Tread
lot of
carefully.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
We're not going to touch most of the shit that we found that just literally made us gag from disgust or just it's
I didn't need the slug zoophilia in my search history.
Slug?
Yeah.
This
was another one of those, like I mentioned last week, where I'm like, I'm not gonna click on that.
Yeah, exactly.
But worse, way worse.
It's because
it tells you
active.
up front.
Oh yeah,
well, it's
absolutely.
not active. It's just there.
Well, no, there actually
you can't
is a
post
secondary
anything
site
to it
up.
anymore. Oh
no, but there is a secondary site that I did find last night. It's super glitchy and super fucked up. I didn't try posting, but all I know is that like Totsi is the people that want the Temple of the Screaming Electron to keep existing. They are making it continue to exist. So if you want to find somebody who's a part of this community and you want to, talk shop with them, what have you, you absolutely can find somebody to talk with for sure. Yeah. But with that,
where can they find us?
You can go to my mom's garage.
And that's it.
And you can and you'll find everything.
You can find us in
want.
Matt's driveway.
Yeah. No, Jason, you were gonna say something. You do it.
If I was gonna say something, it's gone.
No, you can. What socials do we have?
What socials do we have?
You can be Mike.
Facebook. We have Instagram. We have
Twitter.
TikTok. We have Twitter.
We have True Social.
We have True Social.
Parler.
We have Parlor. No, we don't.
No.
Honestly, guys, if
Go
you
to our MySpace, our OnlyFans, our Fansly.
come check out our Facebook. We have a Facebook group where you guys can go discuss. But honestly, the Discord is a much better place to go if you want to talk to people. Yeah, there's stuff that happens every once in a while, but not very often. All the stuff that you're really gonna need is either on our link tree, which is linktree.com/deludipod, or our website, which is just www.deludi.com.
Yo, real quick, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but Internight Weekly is in a voice chat and they're gone.
And they're what?
All right. And they're in here now.
Yeah, they're here. I feel so bad. I think they missed the live recording.
Yeah.
Well, not all of it, I guess.
I mean, most of it.
Listen
yeah,
to the fucking Internet voicemails that we've been playing, and listen to them
Absolutely.
carefully. I'll say that.
Yes,
I've been disappointed in you fuckers. I'm gonna say that.
No, you should be.
Leave it there.
I'm disappointed in myself, and I need to.
No, not you guys. The people who listen to the podcast.
Oh, I thought you were telling us you hated us.
We're always disappointed in the people who listen to
He's
the
like,
podcast.
that's static.
You guys already know that. I don't need.
If you guys don't think that already, I've done something wrong. But okay, got it. I don't know. What else do I have to say? What else does Mike say? Oh yeah, our Google number. You can text us. You can leave us a voicemail, which we play at the end of most of our episodes. That number is 630-939-9366. One more time, that is 630-939-9366. I'm not going to be a jackass, Doug.
630-939-966.
Oh,
it's
Go ahead. There it is. God, do you feel better?
yeah.
Okay. There's another one. I just 6-3. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, text us, guys. We respond when we can. It's
Leave
not
us
all
a
the
voicemail.
time.
We'll play it at the end of the episode.
We will. Go leave us a review on Spotify. Go check out one of the Q&As on one of our episodes. Apparently, feedback per episode is a thing on Spotify. Yeah, I remember when you told us about that. I was like, "What the fuck are you?"
I was like,
talking
"Whoa, people
about?
have been commenting on this shit." Oh my god!
You said people were commenting on Spotify, and I'm like, "Is Matt doing drugs right now?" Like a lot of them. What's happening?
What are you doing, Kat?
Shit. I think that's about it. Yeah, we did the.
That's it. That's the last one.
I don't. Fuck. I don't know. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. Oh, the last thing I can say is if you want to support us subscription based and get a lot of cool shit, go to Patreon. However, if you want to buy us a bunch of alcohol and see us get really drunk about it, go to buymeacoffee.com.
Oh, I forgot to say
/DeludiPod.
that. Like the last several weeks.
But let's be honest. It's
Mine's
gonna be booze.
Is it gonna be?
It's gonna be booze. So
or beer. We've been on.
if you want to contribute to our incoherence, please hit us up on buymeacoffee.com /DeludiPod. But once again, it will be alcohol.
Can I help you?
I guess stay fucking paranoid. I mean, don't accidentally go to paranoid.com when you're searching for Tootsie.
When you're searching for Tootsie, don't search for Goatsy.
No, you can search
you
for the
will
second.
definitely find Goatsy if you go to Tootsie, but not the other way around. Well,
will you?
You won't
might
find
find
Tootsie in your
Goatsy.
Goatsy.
on part 2 of Tootsie, we're gonna go over the
Part 2 of Tootsie. Goatsy.
The G is back. Doug, what do you have to say to the people?
Besides slapping your peens and beans together, as is tradition here, I want you to take a good long pause before you slap your peen and or bean next time, and really think about the fact that you could just write about it on a lot of places, and people will read about it.
Thought you were gonna say you could be fucking a slug instead, but
I mean, I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. But if you wanted to know how to fuck certain animals, there's a place for that on the internet.
There it is. Can you fuck flubber?
You could.
You can fuck anything.
It's called a fleshlight.
If you
actually.
have the will, like there is a way.
Okay.
Real question. This just crossed my brain, and I'm sorry.
The last
if you were to
15
fuck a
minutes of this
slug,
episode.
if you were to have sex with a slug, like
As per usual, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming out. Matt, what do you got?
I think a famous physicist once said, "Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You grab a drumstick, and your brain stops ticking." And I'll leave you with that wisdom.
Impeccable.
God
Impeccable.
damn it. Well, thanks, guys. We love you. We will see you next week. Hopefully, we didn't ruin your night.
We sure did.
I hope
We
we
for sure
definitely did.
ruined someone's night.
We always do, but
Someone's
Goodbye.
bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye now.
Welcome back to Inner Night. Unfortunately, there have been some complications with multiple members of our community, and so Ascension will have to wait. In the meantime, please return to the pit before bed. Remember to think about this never-ending pit and reach for the invisible hand that wants to guide you. The unification of your unconscious and conscious mind will bring you true peace. Now we have a message in a bottle from another member of Inner Night. Jasmine says, "I have had a breakthrough in my meditation practice. I have found a way to communicate with the divine. I am happy to share my experience with anyone who is interested." How inspiring. Your lucky numbers for this week are 104, 116, 116, 112, 115, 58, 47, 47, 98, 105, 116, 46, 108, 121, 47, 51, 65, 115, 53, 112, 89, 97. This week, we recommend taking a break from the outside world and staying inside during the rain. Leave a window open so the soothing sounds of the rain can come in and help you relax. Our community will join you there. This concludes this week's message from Inner Night. Don't forget to send a message to another member and spread the love. We'll see you again next week. Good night.